You have to make a choice. Do you love Jesus or do you hate Jesus? Make a choice. Are you in the middle? Okay, that means you hate Jesus. How? But if you continue deliberately living a life of habitual sin, okay, just whenever you want, just sinning, you will eventually face the raging fire of God's punishment. But I'm letting you guys know that that leads to death. Yo, what's up everybody, and welcome back to yet another video. Alright, in this video, I'm going to be going over a topic that God has really put on my mind. And it's the fact that, you can't just believe in Jesus and go to heaven. You can't just simply say he is God and go to heaven, okay? Even the devil believes that Jesus is God, okay? But I'm going to be going into my support for this. I'm going to be going into detail about it, okay? Don't let people fool you about this topic, alright? Let's get into it. Okay, first I'm going to go over Hebrews 10:26-27 in the NLT Bible. It says, "Dear friends, if we deliberately continue sinning after we have received the knowledge of truth, there is no longer any sacrifice that will cover these sins. There is only the terrible expectation of God's judgment and the raging fire that will consume his enemies." That is really all you need. That's really all you need, okay? What he's saying here is that if you continue sinning, living a life, and that's different from struggling with sin, I get it, we all struggle with sin. But if you continue deliberately living a life of habitual sin, okay, just whenever you want, just sinning, you will eventually face the raging fire of God's punishment. Alright, but I'm going to back this up with a more intricate, connected, detailed reason why I believe this, okay? Let's think about it this way. You have to make a choice. Do you love Jesus or do you hate Jesus? Make a choice. Are you in the middle? Okay, that means you hate Jesus. How? How? I'm in the middle. Anyone who isn't with me opposes me, and anyone who isn't working with me is actually working against me. So, even though it isn't directly related, we can also say, okay, if you're not 100% for Jesus, that means you're 100% against him. There's no in the middle. At least from what I see here. It's not 100% related, but it's very similar. Okay, it's very similar. It's like if you don't 100% love Jesus and you're not 100% for him, then you're against him, okay? So if you hate Jesus, you're going to hell. Alright? If you love Jesus, well, he says this. He says, if you love me, obey my commandments. You know what he commanded? Let's go over. Let's see what Jesus commanded. He said, then Jesus said to his disciples, if any of you wants to be my follower, you must give up your own way, take up your cross, and follow me. If you try to hang on to your life, you will lose it. But if you give up your life for my sake, you will save it. And what do you benefit if you gain the whole world but lose your own soul? Is anything worth more than your own soul? For the Son of Man will come with his angels in the glory of his Father, and will judge all people according to their deeds. And I'll tell you the truth, some standing here right now will not die before they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. Okay. So, here, this is how it goes. You gotta ask yourself a question. Do you love Jesus? If your answer is no, you go to hell. If your answer is yes, well, then you gotta obey his commandments. And one of his commandments is to pick up your cross, deny your flesh, and follow him. Okay? So this means you deny your flesh. Look what he told that one woman, that adulterous woman who they was wanting to stone. He said, go and sin no more. That's a commandment. And we should obey that as well. Now, of course, we struggle with sin. Sure. That's different than living a life of just deliberate sinning. Okay? So, then it tracks back on itself. Well, you got to ask yourself, am I deliberately sinning, living a life of sin? Do I go to parties, smoke weed, get drunk all the time, this, that? You know what I'm saying? If your answer is yes, then it tracks back. Okay, well then that means you're not keeping Jesus' commandments, which means you don't love Jesus, which means you'll go to hell. I don't want to see this lie straight from hell where people say, oh, well, you just believe in Jesus, dude. Just believe in Jesus. Just trust that he's God. Have faith in him. You know, you can live how you want because he that's the reason why he died, bro. So he could pay the price for our sins so we can go to heaven. That's the reason why he died. We can go to heaven. It doesn't matter what Jesus, it matters what Jesus did. It matters a lot, actually. Because now, since he did that for us, we can just live however we want. No. That is a lie straight from Satan. And if anybody tells you that, they're a child of the devil. And I'm being harsh here. Because that lie will send many to hell. Because if you live like that, do you know what that means? That more than likely means that you're lukewarm. And God will spit you out of his mouth. He even said, if you are lukewarm, I will spit you out my mouth. So, do you follow Jesus? My fault. Do you follow Jesus, or do you claim to follow Jesus? Because claiming it with your mouth is one thing. Actually living like a follower of Christ is a whole nother. Because if you obey Jesus with your mouth, but not in your heart, you're done for. And I want you to think about the people who will go to God on Judgment Day and say, Lord, have we not cast out demons in your name? Have we not did mighty miracles in your name? And he will say, depart from me, you workers of iniquity. Why? Why? Well, one, this shows that works don't get you into heaven. Okay? But another thing that I think this shows is that just because you have faith in God, doesn't mean you're going to heaven. And that's a tough pill for a lot of us to swallow. Because we want to live that fleshly way. At least if you're not close to God, you want to live that fleshly way. You want to fulfill those desires all the time, whenever you want. But at the end of the day, we are called to do something. We are called to follow Jesus, the man who hung on the cross for our sins. And if you don't find him worthy enough, if you don't love Jesus, then you will go to hell. And then if you say, okay, well, I love Jesus, but you don't obey his commands, you don't love Jesus, and you're going to hell. And you can't be in the middle about loving Jesus, because that'll just send you straight to hell. Do you really think, if you're in the middle about loving Jesus, that you're going to heaven? Oh yeah, I kind of love Jesus. Yeah, the guy who died on the cross for my sins, even though, you know what I'm saying, I'm a terrible sinner, and he was perfect and still is perfect. Yeah, no, yeah, he's cool. No, nope. Because could you really be in the middle about loving your mom? You wouldn't actually love her then. You would love her 50%, but again, then the problem comes back to, okay, if you're not for Jesus or against him, and I would argue, it doesn't say this, but I would argue that also includes love. If you don't love Jesus 100%, then you don't love him at all. That's like saying, you can't be partying. Here's the thing, man, you cannot be partying on weekends, right? Or on Saturdays, and then go to church on Sunday and think that you're alright. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. And it's a lie straight from Satan to say, oh, well, you can live however you want. Here's the thing, man. Jesus was not a hippie. He's not a hippie. He's not this, he's a nice guy, don't get it twisted. But he's not going to sit here and say, you know what, just do whatever you want, man. No, that's not Jesus. That's actually the devil. The devil will tell you do whatever you want. The devil will tell you do what makes you happy. Because the devil wants you to fall into this lie. And that's the problem with some Christians. And I was one of those Christians. I was a lukewarm Christian for a long time. I believed in Jesus. I knew he was God. But I didn't live my life like it. But the only difference is that I knew that I was going to go to hell if I continued down that path. And so I think that this is a really important lesson. It's something that we should all take away and realize that, hey, take a step back, look at your spiritual life, if you're following Jesus or not, and if you love Jesus. And if your answer is that you love Jesus, great. Do you keep his commands? If no, then you're going to hell. And I'm not trying to install fear. And again, it's different when you struggle with sin. Because look at what he's saying. Again, one more time, look at what he's saying. Hold on, not this one. Not this one. And I don't think this is Jesus speaking. I think this might be whoever wrote Hebrews. This is not Jesus speaking. If we deliberately continue sinning after we've received the knowledge of truth, there is no longer any sacrifice that will cover these sins. So, when you fall into sin, it's not necessarily deliberately. You're doing it. But I would say it's more so you just, fell into temptation. We're all human. But this is different. He's saying if we deliberately continue sinning, living a life of sin, then there's no longer a sacrifice that can cover these. See, God's love is great and his mercy is great. But it doesn't excuse a life of worldly. The light makes no peace with the dark. Do you not understand that? You can't sit here and smoke weed, get drunk all the time, but then believe in Jesus and then go to heaven. No. So it takes more than just believing in Jesus. Because Satan even believes that Jesus is real. and that he is God. Satan knows that Jesus is God. He knows it. He knows it. So, I mean, you got to make the decision, okay? Am I going to really follow Jesus? Am I going to keep his commandments? And then, when you love Jesus, you keep his commandments, you trust in him, you follow his footsteps, then, there you go. There you got it. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video real quick, guys, because I thought that it was extremely important to let you guys know this, and God has really been putting it on my mind recently. I'm not trying to install fear into anybody or anything like that, but what I am trying to do is put my foot down and just let you guys know the truth. Because maybe there's people out there who lived this life, who thought this lie, who believed this terrible, terrible lie, and they was going on a path to hell. But I'm letting you guys know that that leads to death. That leads to death. And as terrible as that may seem, because, you know, again, it's nice to fulfill those desires all the time whenever you want. But I promise you, you'll be so much more at peace and feel so much more joy when you start denying that. Okay, but yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Love you guys. God bless you. Also, check out the clothing shop. Oh, good clothes. Oh, what's this all over the screen? It's great clothes. Amazing deals. Well, there's no sales or anything, but go get some clothes, bro. Stop playing. No, you don't have to. But if you want to, go support a brother. You know what I'm saying? Get, if you can. Don't just buy it to support me. Buy it if you actually like the clothes. See ya. Peace. Love.